you. Now it is my pleasure to invite our own creative local talent to come to the podium as Master of Ceremony, Mr. Edmond Azadian.
Honorable Mayor Brenda Lawrence, Reverend clergy, representatives of United Committee, our guest speaker from Toronto, dear friends, we are united today to commemorate the 99th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. The pain of our horrendous loss brings us together. After 99 years, the time for lamentation is over. The time for revenge is over. The time for frustration is over. We are at a stage of a new political thinking, at a period of fresh ideas to meet the overwhelming challenges ahead of us. The Armenian Genocide has been documented fully and recognized internationally, including our own United States government. Our challenges today are exploration of venues to preserve some 2,000 churches and monasteries laying in ruins across the historic Armenian territory. Our challenge is also to extract an apology from the Turkish government for the crime committed by its Ottoman ancestors against the Armenian people. Our challenge is to ask for compensation for our material losses, as we cannot bring back to life the 2/3 of the Armenian people which was murdered brutally. And finally, our challenge is to restore the territorial integrity of the historic Armenian homeland. It may take a long way to achieve these goals, but as the Chinese say, a 10,000-mile march begins with the first step. At this time, I am honored to invite our distinguished mayor, who has been with us, with the Armenian community on sad occasions and happy occasions. Today is a sad occasion to commemorate the martyrs. She has a special commemoration and an announcement to make, and I will be delighted to invite her.
I want to say good afternoon to everyone. It's wonderful to be here, and I have the pleasure of welcoming everyone to the great city of Southfield. I'm proud that this congregation, one of the beautiful landmarks as you travel throughout this region, I can always say, you know you're in Southfield when you see the gold dome. And also, I have just such a warm affection for the school. Many of you, and I'm sure you do, but you know you have a gem in this school here. It is amazing. It is such a warm educational environment, and I'm proud to be home to that as well. Today, I wanted to share an experience I had. Many of you don't know, I was invited by governments all the time to travel abroad. I was invited by Saudi Arabia, the king, to visit Saudi Arabia, and I travel as a diplomat for relationship building. So I've been invited to Jamaica and met with the Prime Minister of Jamaica. I've been invited to Israel and met with the government in Israel. I travel under State Department directions because I'm considered a diplomat when I travel. And so I was invited to Japan. I'd been to Azerbaijan, and a place I was invited to was Turkey. And so I met with Father, and I said, Father, I've been invited to Turkey. Is it okay to go? And he gave me his blessings to go. He told me, he said, I want you to travel, I want you to see, because so much of our history is you will see while you're there. So while I was there, I meet with the government. And so the Undersecretary of State It was mayors and legislators from all over the United States. And so they asked if anyone in the group had Armenians in their community. They said, I know you've heard some things about our history. I said, no, I have learned a lot about your history from my rich and, to me, my friends and of the community, the Armenian community. And there I was in Turkey, carrying your story and our story that I believe as well. And I told them, I said, there was a genocide. He said, well, we acknowledge an event happened, but we don't call it a genocide. I said, there were lives that were lost. And I would say your government will do itself well by having that conversation and acknowledging the history. It was interesting because we had people from South Dakota, North Dakota, and other places who knew nothing of this conversation we were having. But I was blessed to have this community and to be able to be in that position. And we must continue, all of us, whenever we get the opportunity, to keep the conversation and the history alive. I see many of us in this room who are older. And the young people who are in the room, I've learned this by attending these commemorations, is that we really need to make sure that the history stays alive and we continue in our quest. So I'm here today as your mayor, and to say officially in the city of Southfield that the history of the Armenian genocide offers an opportunity to reflect on the moral responsibilities of individuals, societies, and governments, and serve as an important reminder of what can happen to civilized people when bigotry and hatred reign. And be it resolved that I, the Mayor, Brenda Lawrence, of the City of Southfield, County of Oakland, State of Michigan, do hereby proclaim April 27th as the 99th commemoration of the Armenian Genocide Day in the City of Southfield. And be it further resolved that in the memory of the victims of the Armenian Genocide and their descendants and the citizens of Southfield, that the citizens of Southfield should reflect upon this event and strive to overcome the intolerance and indifference through learning and remembrance. In the witness thereof, I set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Southfield to be afflicted on this day. I am honored to present this, and I also just have one announcement that I've been given permission to tell you that I am a candidate for Congress. And I am excited to go to Congress to take the education that you have afforded me, the friendships and the relationships, and to work on behalf of the 14th Congressional District. I ask for your support. I ask for your continued prayers, because I know Father prays for me often. And the support of this community. God bless you.